Beg your pardon? Meredith, who is this coarse person with the foreign accent?
Okay, greetings, summer greetings to everyone. It is the Talking Ass, and we are not hot. For those of you who are new listeners, it's been a lot of talk about how hot it is in Britain, and I am not sweaty or in any way sticky today. It's been overcast in Britain. Clouds. Alhamdulillah. Praise the Lord.
There's been a tiny little bit of rain, not enough to do a full rain dance, but enough.
Hey, that's offensive to all our friends from the tribes and stuff.
Oh. Well, I would rain dance, so.
Can you ask me about my tribal heritage, just so we can get the diversity points from the get-go?
Yes, so Danny, where are you from? What's your background?
No, just specifically like tribal points. We're not trying to get any Jew points here or any other points. Just tribal, native, indigenous points.
What are your indigenous backgrounds?
It's unclear percentage-wise, and I am not about to give my my DNA, like my most sacred scientific and health information, to some private company to do God knows what with. So percentage-wise, I don't know, but there's a lot of slanted eyes in the family. Or just people who are constantly squinting and staring at the sun. I don't know. Maybe they're always moving. Maybe all these relatives of mine are always moving directly in the direction of the sun.
Where have they moved around from?
I mean, essentially, all these tribes have those eyes because of the Mongols. Isn't that the theory?
Mongolian.
Isn't it? Genghis Khan and his hordes going around pillaging and raping. Isn't that how it all happened? I don't know.
What, so the Northern Finnish are descendant from that?
The Samis up there, yeah, up there.
Are you of what then? Are you of that
yeah, I could be of that. There must be some of that stock, you know.
So you are
There's a lot, and not some, I mean quite a lot, because it's, let's just say it's visible across generations.
How many generations do you know go back in the Sami heritage of yours? How far can you go back?
Don't know. See, I don't know I haven't done, in our family, due to the other side of the family being all Jewy and whatnot, there's been a lot of genealogy work done on that side about who ended up where, who ended up dying in various pogroms and holocausts and whatnot, and who ended up in what part of the world after, you know. Generally, the North, Finland, Russia, the United States, and Israel being the destinations that people in the end ended up from these villages. But yeah, on the other side, the Lapland, Nordic, Sami mixture, maybe the eyes are Russian, maybe they're not even Sami. But anyway, you have to do some of that work, you know?
So you don't know?
I don't know the percentage, no, and I don't know who I know it's quite strong in my mother, it's quite strong in my brother, it was really strong in my grandmother, dear departed grandmother, so it must be her. It looks like her mother or father was pretty full genetically. If I had to, as an amateur geneticist, I would say it's gotta be that close at least, where the 100%ers were, you know, the full bloods.
Mm-hmm.
So like great grandparents, maybe full bloods,
mm-hmm.
and only on one side. So that makes me, I don't.
What on just your maternal side? Do you mean, or on your mother's?
Just on my maternal side, yeah.
On your mother's.
For me, on my maternal side, could be even both.
Yeah.
At great grandparent stage, which means what does that mean? Like, honestly, like something like Judaism or even Britishism or being Irish, for example. This is all just cultural. Like if you decide that that is your identity, that's it.
Mm.
But with some things that's so visible and genetic, like Mongol genes and stuff that the tribes have that other Finns don't have as much of, it's hard to say like where does the line go. And in America, obviously, they've been debating this forever, like where does the line go. There's been some hilarious cases, right, of politicians and stuff claiming that they're native. It's like 0.5% or something. And even more importantly, culturally, they don't speak a lick of the language or care.
Mm.
I don't speak the language and never learned it.
What language?
Because a lot of, like Sami or any of that stuff up there, because a lot of my cultural identity went for the father side of the family, to the other stuff. Therefore, I don't think I had an interest in that. Like, I did care about all the other cultural stuff, the nature up there.
Yeah.
You know, fly fishing, reindeer raising, that was all really fascinating and cool to me as a child. Hunting to some extent, not much. Yeah, that was all really cool, but language was already not a part of. Everyone spoke Finnish, let's just say, when I was a kid.
And
In
what about
the extended family.
Is there a religion or anything like that?
Yeah, they're like shamanistic type stuff. Yeah.
Ooh.
I've been to ceremonies as a kid and stuff, but it's more like it didn't have to do with heritage. It was more what tourists would want to go see anyway.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Speaking of lost members of the tribe or tribal connections of ours, we have a email here. Dear Danny and Sylvia,
Thanks.
my name is Gary, and I'm writing to you from the Cayman Islands.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Okay, for some context, for those of you who haven't been on the journey from the beginning, there has been this recurring character that we've forgotten about, but we should bring him back, called Gary from the Cayman Islands. He's our money guy, the money guy of this podcast, and generally disapproving of how little engagement and success this thing has on the internet. Anyway, so this guy, I've recently discovered the podcast for obvious reasons, and frankly, I'm not entirely sure what I've stumbled across. I started listening out of curiosity, and now I've somehow made it through several episodes.
Nice.
I thought I should get in touch and say hello. There's something wonderfully chaotic about the whole thing.
That is us.
And I particularly appreciate that you don't seem to take yourself too seriously, or indeed anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, keep up the good work. I'll try to say hello to the other Gary from the Cayman Islands.
Real Gary from the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, that's all the best. Gary, Cayman Islands. He didn't write from there in his signature.
You
He just said Gary, Cayman Islands.
A guest of the year week.
Yeah,
Day.
awesome. That's definitely email of the week, yeah.
Yeah.
An actual Gary. Because you see, we did have, by the way, another thing we haven't updated in a long time is the countries. And now we've actually cracked the 100. We have listeners in over 100 countries.
Yeah.
So at some point we did notice that oh my god, the Cayman Islands actually are there, you know? They must be there because some algorithm has realized that we mentioned the Cayman Islands so many times.
Cool.
You know, and made fun of it. And now Gary's been a victim of the same recommendations. And so yeah.
Let's create some more characters and then get the real versions on. Who do I want to hear from? I want to hear from...
Well, I obviously replied to Gary already, asking like, "Hey, do you want to actually be Gary from the Cayman Islands?" And like, take so there's someone to call, right? Yeah. When that character is needed. Hey, we'll see. Not every.
Who else should we go for?
By the way, that's a big celebration that over 100 countries now listen to this. But if we've learned anything during this journey, it is that not everyone likes to be on the idea of being on a podcast, even though they like listening to them.
Yeah.
Like people have a big threshold putting themselves out there on the internet, even if it's anonymous. Like this guy, Maybe there are only like 4 Garys on the Cayman Islands, so everyone would just be pointing at each other like, okay, 2 of you are involved in this fucking thing now.
Can you let us know how many Garys are?
Yeah. All right. Hey, do you want to hear the 100 out of the 100 countries that we now have listeners in, or that have listened? They're not all listening to every episode, but we have listeners from 100 countries. Do you want to know the really weird top 5?
Yeah, I'd love
because we haven't looked at this in a long time. So it's the UK, the United States, and Finland for obvious reasons. Finland's still up there, obviously, because, you know, I bother to actually promote myself in Finnish rather than I never do really in English. I mean, I have appeared on English language podcasts too, but the Finnish ones are much more famous, the interviews. And then there is Canada, which has been up there always, somewhere. And then, you want to know where we're really popular? Number 5, Southeast Asian country, but that we have talked about a full-length episode, and then we've mentioned it a few times, not full-length episode. Some folks are born, silver spoon in hand, ooh, Lord, they help themselves. There was a war there with that kind of music. Yeah, Vietnam. Yeah, number 5, Vietnam. Yeah. And then the usual suspects, Germany, Brazil, Netherlands, and so forth. Right?
Yeah.
When I should mention Australia, so 3.1% of our listeners are in Australia as well.
Nice to hear from you. Good day, mate.
Australians, they're attractive, aren't they? As a people.
I think Swedish are probably more attractive.
All right. I have a couple of weekly Torah portions for everyone. Some learning. Do you want to do Island Corner first or Learning Corner first?
Learning Corner.
Okay. Have you ever... Okay, this is weird, but do you know what Anabaptists are?
No. Baptist, type of Baptist.
Anabaptists are like these Christian sects that are like Germanic in origin and have ended up living very... traditionally and not really using much modern technology or so forth and living in these communes. So Amish, Mennonites. So Anabaptist refers to that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Mennonites and Amish came up at like this social gathering that I was at not too long ago. And this was in the southeast of England. And like this garden party, right? And we started talking about, there were some Americans there who started talking about like the Mennonites and the Amish that live around them. Obviously a really interesting conversation, and I got to, you know, flash my knowledge of the Amish. I got to say Rumspringa, which is, you know, when the Amish, they get to go out of the community and go crazy in Las Vegas for a few months and then go back.
You're always flashing your knowledge.
Exactly. So I got to be a fucking know-it-all again. Anyway, so I looked into them, and what was really shocking is somebody asked, well, are there any Amish in England? And then someone instantly answered, yes. And I thought, what? No. That's not a thing, right?
So a thing.
And, okay, so it is and it isn't. So what they meant is there is this thing called the Darvell Bruderhof. Ever heard of them?
Yeah, because I'm...
You...
One of them. No,
yeah.
not one of them.
No, you're one of them. So
they wouldn't take me.
They're not. Okay, they're not Amish, and they have nothing to do with the Pennsylvania Dutch or the Mennonites or anything in America, right? But it's like convergent evolution. They are Anabaptists, I guess, all of them, and that just means like really old school frugal Christians or something. And the Amish, the Hutterites, Mennonites, and even these Bruderhofs that live here in Robertsbridge, in Sussex, can be considered like part of the Anabaptist family. But other than that, there's not much that separates them. The Bruderhof began in Germany in the 1920s, founded by Eberhard Arnold.
Yeah.
And they wanted to recreate what they saw as the communal life of the early Christian church, right? They share their possessions and income, which I don't think the Amish do, for example. And they place the community ahead of individual wealth. They were prosecuted by the Nazis, and they were forced to leave the country. They spent some time in Liechtenstein and England, and eventually ended up both in North and South America.
Mm.
These are the wider Bruderhofs, and then the Darvell Bruderhofs, the Darvell community, was established at Roberts Bridge in East Sussex in 1971 on the site of a former tuberculosis hospital.
Whoa.
Okay. It has subsequently become the Bruderhof's largest and oldest European community.
Oh.
Today, it's essentially a self-contained Christian village of roughly 300 people, including families, children, and single adults. Members don't generally own houses, cars, or other significant personal property individually. Income and possessions are pooled, and the community provides housing, food, education, and so forth. The way you may have heard of these people is there's a company called Community Playthings.
Mm.
And what they do have in common with the Amish is they're good at building stuff and carpentry and like craftsmanship and stuff like that. So these children's, like the high quality like children's playground equipment and stuff, Community Playthings, you see that around sometimes. That's theirs. So that's them doing that. Yeah. And the children attend Darvell School, which is an independent Christian school, obviously. Roughly 4 to 14 years.
How Christian is it?
Yeah, so here's the thing. The next question, of course, is like, okay, this sounds like a cult. How many issues have there been? And we're about to ask Elon's Grok what issues there may have been, because I forgot to do that in my pre-research. That's a good question. But before then, just so some differences. Unlike the Amish, they engage much more with the outside community and modern technology.
Yeah.
So they don't have private property like cars and stuff, but they don't have a problem using cars. Like the Amish don't use cars, right? And Pennsylvania Dutch have nothing to do with it because they're, again, more like an umbrella term for an origin. It's a mistranslation. It comes from Pennsylvania Deutsch. So Dutch is they're not from Holland. They're from Germany. People who came to Pennsylvania from Germany, which includes some very traditionally living people and not so much. So it's more of an umbrella term in Pennsylvania. And by the way, they're like hundreds of years of, as I said, convergent evolution. Like they arrived at a similar lifestyle, but the Bruderhof started in 1920. The Amish can really trace the start of their whatever ideology or religious sect to like the 1600s.
Yeah.
So they're 400 years apart, but they arrived in a lifestyle that might look a little bit similar, kind of, sort of. Right?
Yeah.
Now, big question, right, Sylvia? What was it? Any cult scandals, sexual abuse, things like that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, I wanted to know
Exciting.
also how Christian they are, like which parts of the Christian...
What do you mean?
Which parts of the Christian faith do they follow? Is it actually any?
So oh, sorry, I didn't define that very well. I guess the Anabaptism, as I said, and I called it old school frugal Christianity. What I meant by that is it's pretty much the Anabaptism as a catch-all term refers to these communities that want to take it fairly literally, what's in the Bible. So you could perhaps kind of compare it to Haredi Judaism, like ultra-Orthodox Judaism. That is fairly literal about things.
Yeah. Okay.
Even though they aren't, by the way, most of the ultra-Orthodox, their rules are based on hundreds of years of commentary that leads to all these crazy restrictions on their lives. So in some ways, taking the Torah literally would make their life easier than what it is.
Yeah. I just wonder whether they believe in the J-man or not.
Oh, yes. They all believe in the Jesus hardcore.
Hard Jesus.
They're on that wagon and they're going fast.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
No pun intended with the wagon stuff, with the Amish. Yes, Grok's answer, okay? I'm taking this just from AI because I'm doing this live. I can't bother to verify, but yes, let's see how Grok does. I can check the sources as we go along. Yes, there is a substantial history of allegations and controversy, particularly from former members.
Damn.
This is the Bruderhof, right? Although I would distinguish those allegations from proven criminal findings.
True.
Nice of you, Grok, yeah. The main criticism is authoritarian control and psychological/emotional abuse. Former members have described harsh discipline, interrogation, public shaming, pressure to conform, and punishment. or social isolation for breaking religious or sexual rules. Some former members have also said that leaving could result in a strained or severed relationship with relatives. That is one of the hallmarks, one of the main signs of a cult, right? Is that if you try to leave, they fuck with your relationships with your family, right?
Well, I think there's that, but there's also like if you're leaving the family boat, then it is going to make tension. So they're not actually saying like there's clear allegations of actual abuse. It's more like we are extremely into what we believe in, and now you are suggesting you're not. So that's a problem. What your AI isn't really giving hard evidence of full on.
It's not done yet.
All right.
Our AI's got a lot here. Okay.
Yes.
There have also been allegations involving children and sexual abuse. Former members have alleged physical and sexual abuse as well as emotionally damaging treatment of children. Some of the most serious historical claims are difficult to independently verify, and the Bruderhof has consistently rejected allegations. Blah, blah, blah. Okay? The most significant UK coverage was a 2020 BBC Inside Out investigation, which included former community members describing experiences they regarded as abusive. One former member alleged that she was subjected to an attempted exorcism following a mental health crisis. Another described being publicly shamed as a teenager over relationships with boys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the Bruderhof community has disputed the program's portrayal of them and said the most serious allegations had been reported to statutory authorities, which had taken no further action. So, okay. Of course, there's a debate over whether cult is an appropriate description. Of course, that's what we, I guess, are debating here, kind of. Although I'm just bringing this up as an interesting group of people that most, maybe even British people in the area don't know about, right?
Yeah.
Let alone people elsewhere. And, this is, of course, very different from, like, a proper really, really dangerous cult where like
That's
people
what I
drink the
mean,
Kool-Aid or jump off a building when they think the apocalypse is coming. So there's a scale, but I would say it's not all good. It's not all cute. It's not all quaint and old school with these kind of communities often, right?
Yeah.
So on that fascinating note, if anyone knows anything about the Darvell Bruderhof or anything, or if there is someone out there from the community, we'd love to talk to you. I'm not. It wouldn't be the first time I would have visited a neighborhood full of extremely religious people, so I can make myself home no problem and make friends.
Yeah. We would be respectful and strength space.
Yeah, of course. So, staying with the Dutch, even though we just said the Pennsylvania Dutch have nothing to do with it. Still, that's our segue, so fuck it. It's a great segue. It's a bridge over troubled waters to our island corner. What do you know about the bottom?
The bottom?
Mm-hmm.
What does that even mean?
The bottom. Do you know anything about the bottom?
What bottom?
Your bottom, my bottom, their bottom, whatever bottom you want to talk about. You couldn't come up with a funny quip, therefore I'll let you out of your misery. The bottom, formerly known as Botte, is the capital and largest town of the island of Saba.
Saba.
Which is in the Caribbean Netherlands.
Netherlands.
In the Dutch Caribbean, right? Yeah. It's the first stop on the way from Saba's port in Fort Bay towards the rest of the island. Saba is no joke, right? There might be further island corners with some of its neighboring islands because they have interesting histories too. But it's the smallest special municipality, meaning basically overseas territory of the Dutch Empire that still remains. And it largely consists of a dormant volcano called Mount Scenery, which is a really good name for a mountain, especially since it's the entire scenery of what you can see. Yeah. It's just ocean and this one thing. And at 870 meters, it's the highest point of the entire kingdom of the Netherlands. So there you go. Free trivia / bar trick for anyone out there. If you can promise people you can get like $1 million if you know what the highest point of the Netherlands is.
It's a very country. It probably wouldn't take much to be the highest point, to be honest.
That's true, right? Because the Netherlands is very flat. So, yeah, so Mount Scenery is by far the highest point of the entire kingdom. The island lies in the northern Leeward Islands, right? And there's the Leeward Islands is in the West Indies, blah, 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 southeast of the Virgin Islands. Like, this is all Paradise Island territory. And obviously, together, it forms the Caribbean Netherlands with Bonaire and Saint Eustatius, which are couple of islands we also need to look into maybe in the future. But let's stay on Saba. The towns and major settlements are the Bottom, the capital, Windward Side, Zion's Hill, and St. John's. So quite biblical, except the Bottom.
The Bottom.
Seems to be quite literal, like the bottom of the mountain or the bottom of the valley, right?
Yeah.
So the history inhabited around 3,300 years ago. Earliest known site of Plum Peace dates to approximately 1300 BC.
Wish. That's old.
Yeah. The island's isolation and rugged terrain suggest that early settlers possessed advanced maritime navigation skills, likely originated from South America. So they were natives here, right? They made potteries, tools, and sculptured objects and everything from shells, animals, bones, and coral. So there were real inhabitants here. The main occupation seems to have occurred, though, between AD 400 and 1450, and that would probably be right before Whitey showed up, and Whitey's diseases killed everybody off, as usual.
No beds.
Yeah, Christopher Columbus sighted it in 1493, but he didn't land on the island. A group of shipwrecked Englishmen landed in Saba in 1632.
Damn.
So, I wonder, there's no mention of it here in a short summary, but I wonder, did those Englishmen encounter like the natives of Saba? Because that's like some, what's his name, Mel Gibson shit. What's that movie Mel Gibson did about, like, the whole movie that is about Aztecs fighting, or Incas or something fighting with each other, and then suddenly the fucking Spanish show up. Have you seen that?
Something of gold. No.
Oh, what is it? We have to recommend this to people.
Is it? Because I love that. That's a great film.
No. It was like in the 90s or something.
I know what you mean.
Apocalypto, 2006. Yeah. I don't think Mel Gibson's in it. I think he directed it or whatever.
Yeah, it's here.
Yeah. Really cool movie, and I mean, he's a fucking insane, really mentally unstable anti-Semite. What do you say?
I said shame about the anti-Sam.
Yep. Back to Saba, okay?
Yeah.
Saba's major industries, sugar, indigo, rum in the 18th and 19th centuries when the Dutchmen were there, right?
Yeah.
Enslaved people were important from Africa, obviously, for these purposes, to grow all this stuff for free. Slavery as a business idea really does work, doesn't it? As long as they don't revolt and, like, kill you and take all your shit. But for a while, as a business, there's a lot there, you know?
Well, if you think it's still kind of carrying on with animals, you know? Yeah.
Yep. And proper Pirates of the Caribbean in Saba, because England at the time used to deport undesirable people, so Trump voters and shit. No, those were deplorables. What are undesirables then? Oh, like boat migrants to live in the Caribbean colonies, and some of them also became pirates, and a few took haven on Saba. So it looks like a Pirates of the Caribbean like movie scene, and it was one.
Well, yeah, it would.
One notable Saba pirate was called Hiram Beeks, who was the son of the Dutch counselor of the island. And then we get to Spanish Empire, then Spain started like arguing that they discovered all these islands. Like, this is later in like the 19th century, like the 1850s. Spain started saying like, no, this is all ours because we discovered all this first. And I don't think the people there didn't really care anymore, and they were all just fishermen and stuff. Spanish decision of 13th of June 1865 declared that the ownership of the island belonged to Venezuela, and that the Netherlands should be compensated for it, though. Jesus, this is some weird colonial shit, you know?
You never can quite get away from the colonial shit.
But the Spanish argued that the first like sovereign state to have military force and to exercise sovereignty over the island had been Venezuela.
Interesting.
But obviously that was just a Spanish protectorate too, so
Yeah.
it's just Spain
Brackets.
trying
They're
to.
like, oh, it's Venezuela, brackets, us. Me.
There was a lot of like desperation vibes in all of these empires as they slowly died away, right?
Yeah.
With just strange, like in the 19th century already, all of this smelt like really from another era. Like, what are you saying? Why are the Spanish deciding whether this is Dutch or Venezuelan? Like, this is just weird. But well, in the end, it's Dutch today, so like we never resolved any of that, right?
No.
Yeah. There's something called the road. It's a cement road that connects all the villages of Saba. And it's also called the road that couldn't be built. It was constructed by local Sabans between 1938 and 1963 without the use of machines.
Oh, no.
So it was built by hand and designed by local engineer Josephus Lambert Lambie Hassel.
Wow.
Anyway, this whole ownership thing, by the way, only in 1978, Venezuela and the Kingdom of the Netherlands signed the Maritime Limits Treaty and defined the extension of the Dutch and Venezuelan exclusive economic zone. There's 2,270 people, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and but a lot of them are doctors.
Ooh.
Because they have a medical school.
Cool.
Would you like to ask why is there a medical school in Saba?
Yeah, why? What is it affiliated with another school, or is it literally the school of Saba? Like, what is it?
Well, it's mostly actually like American and Canadians who couldn't get into medical school in their own countries.
Oh yeah,
but still
is it cheaper?
Yeah, so it's North American accredited. I don't even know if it's that much cheaper, but it generates revenue for all these countries. There's a lot of islands, North American islands, so Caribbean islands that have medical schools.
That sounds really good.
There's also the medical school West Indies. They're all really good, right? So
yeah,
because they get all the people who couldn't get into like their local medical school, they can get to live on an island for a while and do U.S. accredited medical degree.
Lots of people going to Eastern Europe to do medical courses as well.
Yeah. So Saba Island Airport, it would take over 2 days. No, at best 24 hours to get there. And only £1,000.
That's not bad.
Yeah, really isn't that bad. So it's not that remote. What's that?
You have to stop at other places. Can't travel for 24 hours.
It's not direct. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's that big of a market of flights. But wildlife, rich terrestrial and marine wildlife, globally significant red-billed tropic bird colonies, endemic reptiles like the Saban anole and Saba black iguana. Saban anole is a lizard, and Saba black iguana is a striking melanistic form of iguana native to the island. So these are only live there, unique. Red-bellied racer is a rare ground snake native only to Saba and neighboring St. Eustatius Islands. Cool. And lots of different bats and stuff. Fish and sharks, turtles and rays, beautiful marine life. But that's that. I think obviously highlights is the medical school, the town called the Bottom, and the road called the Road, and the highest point in the Netherlands is on Saba Island. These were highlights. Any questions? Any
war bases at any point?
Oh, yes, we forgot. Geopolitical importance. No resources or any like rare earths to mention. Not enough to mention really, or oil or anything. Strategic territorial positioning, I guess, back in the day for the Netherlands. Lack of easy landing spots made it virtually unassailable. This is in history with oldie worldy pirate technology. They were safe there because it was difficult to attack. Yeah. So buccaneers and privateers and pirates.
Yeah, like any treasure and thing.
Between 1632 and 1816, sovereignty over Saba shifted 12 times between the Dutch, British, and French as European powers fought for supremacy in the sugar and trade-rich Lesser Antilles Islands.
Yeah.
Right. From 1816, it's been Dutch officially. We weren't very clear about that. But so modern importance, it's just, I guess, for the Dutch to maintain their empirical posturing that they're still important.
Do they use euros?
No. Interestingly, they use the United States dollar because I suppose all their trade happens in dollars and all these fees for this medical school happen in dollars. So
yeah,
and you can get your dollars from the Royal Bank of Trinidad and Tobago in Windward Side and the First Caribbean International Bank in the bottom. So you can get them from your bottom.
Yeah, get them up your.
Dig them. Yeah.
And
pull them out of the bottom.
Coming out your bottom. And what about their sports interests and any particular religion?
Nah, we're not gonna look at who cares about religion. Sports, cricket, obviously. They're gonna be cricket, right?
A big guess, or is that knowledge?
No, I'm confirming it now. I mean, obviously it's cricket.
How do you know?
All those islands are crazy about cricket, Sylvia, aren't they?
Are they?
No, they're not,
Oh.
is the answer. Soccer, kickball, football, basketball, volleyball, softball, and outdoor adventure activities like hiking and scuba. They're very Americanized, it seems, right? Because it's maybe due to the influence of the medical school.
Yeah.
No cricket, huh?
Why were you into cricket about this? Why did you think it was cricket?
I don't know.
Because it's not. Is it West? It's not West Indies, is it?
No, I thought that's what I just always think of West Indies, but they have British influence. This is Dutch, so no, of course it's not cricket. It should be like Dutch activities, like group sex, strange leather outfits, wooden clogs up your arse, that kind of.
If we're going for that
Dutch
one,
things.
you'd be like windmills.
Like group sex in wooden clogs inside windmills with members of your family and animals.
There you are.
And while on a lot of drugs. That's a Dutch kind of vibe, isn't it?
Legal. Yeah.
All right, Sylvia, I have a book corner to end with.
Nice. What do you want? Me first?
Don't worry about it. Maybe you'll be inspired by this. I'll go first. Book club, quickly. I reread something I read years and years ago, and it is still a brilliant read. Don't read only that book about this particular war, but read 6 Days of War by Michael B. Oren. I think it's something like how 6 Days in June changed the modern Middle East, or something like that, whatever. Still very relevant today, but I think it was written in the early 2000s, maybe, or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it shaped the Middle East very dramatically, and the storytelling is fantastic, so read that.
Nice.
What about Sylvia?
Well, I've been listening to a book called The Women, and I think it'll be 4 different women or 3, but at the moment we're on Frankie, who is in fiction, I believe, but it could be true, I'm not sure, but is in Vietnam as a nurse, and that was a really good perspective, because you think of Vietnam as such a male space, so it was quite nice to hear about. The whole book is about heroic women, and so this is quite an interesting one. Like, and she had to arrive in her uniform and heels and stuff, and then as soon as she gets there, the others are like, no, you don't have to be wearing that, and then she's in a medical hospital in Vietnam, so it's quite interesting.
Excellent. All right. Hey, thank you very much. Click the internet buttons and so forth. And if anyone's wondering why there was no guest again, I'm just switching it up. Sometimes there's 2 guests in a row, no bonus episodes. Sometimes there's 3, no guests. I have a couple of guests in the bank, but I didn't feel like it's too summary. They're more serious topics. Whatever. It wasn't the vibe. It was more of a vibe for this. So next week is either a guest or not. Who knows? Anything could happen. I think it's a guest. All right. Salamat.
Salamander.
Now, if you enjoyed this episode of The Talking Ass, remember to rate, review, follow the show for more of this weirdness, and share it with a friend, enemy, neighbor, relative, lover even. And press those goddamn internet buttons. Press them hard. Follow, all that jazz. See you next time.